I want to thank you guys all for coming here. Gordy, of course, is looking down, I'm sure he's smiling and putting me on the spot again. But he lived a full life. You know, Gordy, when he moved out of the Tri-Cities here, he moved to LA, and, you know, he loved the city life. He got a great job down in LA. I mean, anything he wanted, you know, he was always out on the golf course, you know, doing anything, going to France, going to the Bahamas. And, you know, then I had Jessica, my daughter, and I know that he really loved the family, you know, when he would see Jessica and I and Kim together. And so then he figured, you know, it was time to settle down and have his own daughter. And when he moved to Virginia, you know, it was just calling, you know, of course we talked at least once a month, and it was how Taylor was the best soccer player. Every sport that she entered, he would send me clippings, you know, her picture in the paper. And I think he really missed the Northwest, though. You know, he was out there in Virginia in the city life, but he would always send me a fishing pole, you know, or talk, you know, about getting back here to the Northwest. And he knew that all my friends, you know, that are all here tonight, and they just love the outdoors. And so I think that's pretty much where he came back here. And I know that he stopped and he had bought new fishing poles and new shotguns, and he was all excited to get back here. And then he went to Roseburg to stop and visit my uncle, and somebody stole his car when he was parked at the motel, you know, and so he had all of his stuff gone. And anyway, they found his car, and he finally made it up here, but he really enjoyed, you know. I know that Kevin and I went hunting several times where he was, you know, he just loved the outdoors and sitting by the campfire, and he was never a loss of words, you know. He was always the highlight of the conversation. But yeah, he's, after he broke his leg, he was just, you know, once he was in a wheelchair, he would always talk about trying to get around and do things, but he lived a full life, and I know he had done a lot of, almost everything that you really, a person would love to do in a lifetime. So, thank you all for being here. I know you loved it. I know he is.
My name is Mary Bachner-Nybeck, and I'm Gordy's cousin as well. I also want to thank you for coming. I was young, like the rest of the family, so Gordy and Kelly, the Huffman boys, were cool, and we didn't really spend much time with them hanging out because they were too cool, but we did like to follow them around. I did have the pleasure of reconnecting with Gordy later in life. Sheree and Gordy invited me into their home when we were just a little girl, and I know that Gordy loved you more than anything on earth. And the memories I have of Gordy, the closeness that we were able to create in our adult life is what I will always take with me. Gordy was the first family member in a long line to go to the AA meeting with me. We traveled to Betty Ford together, and he would call me late at night, and we would have these, as you all know, Gordy's dry sense of humor. I happen to think he was very funny. And we would have these conversations about our childhood and the things that had happened. And of course, because we're related, we had a few contests about who was smarter, and I'm pleased to tell you it was me. And of course, I'm also pleased to tell you that I get the last word, which is making crazy. And And I feel honored, I'm proud that he was my cousin. I love him, and I think part of that love came from my mom. Our moms, all of our moms were sisters. And Hazel adored the Hoffman boys. Absolutely adored. I don't know why. Thank you.